based upon the size substrate that you're trying to
How do
sculpt.
we adjust that? Or do we need to
Just by loosening this here, and we basically use a inclinometer, which we just set on top here, and we get a certain angle and tighten it down.
But we have that set. It's set now for max uniformity across the flat.
Yeah, and I actually put, I'll actually show you here. I put on your desktop KGLC test files, uniformity, and we did a couple runs. So we did one for source 2, source 1, and we ran ITO in one of them also. I think I want to open this with Libre. So this is the test cert.
So the ITO you run, and you I guess the preset is already in the system.
Yes. Yeah, so this is the test cert for source 1. So in this one here, we were 4-inch substrate, 2-inch torus. We ran SiO2. We achieved over 4 inches, hard to see there, 3.3% uniformity. The gun setup here, throw distance 4 1/4. Get out of here. Throw distance 4 1/4 inches, offset 2.3, angle 0. So I'm going to explain what all these mean. Insert length. So the insert length was here, in the base of the chamber underneath. All right. The throw distance is from the top of the target to where it strikes the substrate. The offset. So we have a center line. We don't aim for the center line. We aim for a value outside the center line. That's the offset. So that was indicated here. The reason I wanted to give this to you, I have hard copies of these also. If you ever change your setup, if you ever pull it out for maintenance, you can at least go back to what worked. You know, you're not going to spend a lot of time sampling and then changing positions. You know, you can go back to this.
So typically, if we just change the target, do we need to do those adjustments?
You don't need to do anything. You just change the target. It's as simple as me just loosening a couple screws and taking it off. Right. So this may loosen up over time. But, at least this gives you a datum or a starting point to go back to. So a couple things, if you do take this out for some reason, this is the sealing surface. You don't want to have this scratched up. Right. This line here this is fed from atmosphere. This goes to your shutter. So you can see there's an 1/8-inch gasket here, and this is your shutter actuator. This has a little slop in it, and I get asked, hey, why is that sloppy? Well, it's because if you get deposition on it, you want it to bind up. You want it to have some freedom of movement. So, but if I go to the screen here,
more than
so you notice that this is on. It's green or active, and that is open. If I click it here, it's going to close, and that arm came up. So that's something I wanted to point out. So if anything's on or active, it's green. If it's off, it's gray. You notice that there's some text boxes.
Gray means this gray?
Yeah.
This color?
Yeah, so you can basically open it here. Okay. And you heard the solenoid open up.
Yeah.
So
and it grayed out. This is real similar to the SCADA systems I've used in the plant before.
So what's nice about the software is there's different text boxes in here. So you have black with green font. That's feedback. That's what the system has done. That's the state of the system. Anything that's white as a text box, you can enter. So just to give you some points of reference, this is we have multiple values indicated on different screens. That's the same wide range gauge that's on the other screen. And if you don't know what something is, you just hover over it. And there's a little pop-up. It stays for a few seconds, goes away. And that's important if you're writing a recipe from scratch.
Those are indicators. Just read out from the machine.
Yeah,
and
so
those ones we can change.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back. In fact, I'd like if one of you guys could put it back, just so you get the feel of doing it. So does somebody want to glove up and...
That sounds like a job for Savannah.
Yeah, good glove.
Grab some
Oh, I have some right here.
Enjoy, man.
I'd like to grab some gloves. And the reason I like to have the customer do it is I think, you know, the sooner and quicker you get up to the tool, the more acclimated you are. And you know, I know there's some apprehension, but
Nobody wants to be the guy who
Yeah.
broke it, you know.
you just have to get over that. It's like,
Right.
you know, I'm going to be right here. I'm not going to guide you to do anything bad.
Nice. Guess you could walk me through it.
Yeah. This is your target. On the back of the target, I actually scribed what the name of the material was. AL.
Aluminum. Okay.
And they called us a mag keeper, so this just
Marinated just
sits in there. You just want to make sure that it's seated in there.
Okay.
And then you can just shake it a little bit to make sure that it's... Yep. Okay. So this is called your dark space shield. So this goes around this target, and there's different slots within here. So if you have a 1/4-inch target,
We're going to adjust it accordingly.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 1/4-inch target, you want to use this one. An 1/8 inch, this will fit down lower. So you use this one. So you want to use this one right here. I'm just going to show you. I just have these loose. And you'll notice that this kind of rocks a little bit. What I want to do then is I'm going to gently snug this one and this one, and I want to make sure that this is concentric. This isn't short of it like that.
There's another
Yeah, there's one right back here.
You can rotate this?
Well, no, you just have to reach back. Yeah, you can use this one here.
It's some kind of switch that you found. It's a
Other way. You just have to lightly seat it. You don't have to. You have to crank on it. There's one right on the other side.
Yeah, the power connection.
This might be a little bit long.
I'm just gonna interchange this swap back and forth.
What if we do like touch it with our hands? What do we do then?
Well, you really want to keep oils off of it, you know, because you have it in your bare hands, it's going to affect the back integrity. That's why we like to, we wear gloves and we just try to keep it clean inside.
Yeah, we deal with that a lot. I mean,
Get your head out of it.
Definitely get pictures of
water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that down there.
Can this part fit in as well, or is it just this part?
Both sides.
Both sides can?
It takes a lot of time to work through this on the other side.
Is it
Yeah, it looks like mine
towards me or?
out.
And you want to
That's
go
great.
to
Yeah, over there.
lighting it up.
We would just need that one hooked up to the exhaust or something. Right now we just could have covered it.
Yeah, you want all right. Now we want to put this on. So this is called our compact dome shutter. So what I want to do is I want to close the shutter. This is the arm that goes on. You want to go to the deposition screen.
I just looked it up exactly.
And right here, you just want to put your cursor over top of that. Click on it.
Yeah.
I mean, the other option,
You notice how that
they sell
Oh.
Yep. And then I can set this on here.
put on there.
I can set the height.
Track a large
And what I want to do then is I want to set it on.
Technically put one on each pump.
And I want to put this this neural thumb screw on. But you want this side here
I mean, as far as
against
you
this.
can just connect just like that.
This side, this bigger side, because there's a
Oh, I see. That's
there.
the
It could be a trap ball.
I see.
And then that hose will run up and,
Okay.
ideally, probably be into your cross on it.
I can do a front plate. I can actually print a front plate and just wrap it around and clamp on.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
The only thing that concerns me a little bit with that though is like the wet pumps, like the oil vapor kind of condenses in that tube and then runs back down.
What's the typical maintenance that
Really for these, so what we like to do, you notice that the inside of your chamber is pretty clean.
It's not like that.
We use oil, we oil the inside to keep the deposition off of the chamber. And we use foil and Kapton tape.
I mean, I think you're probably.
And we don't use any foil. There's a foil called alu foil, which is a vacuum-friendly foil. It doesn't have oil within. It doesn't have oil from the rolling mills. And
you just put like a cover with the
yeah, so we basically put it through here. We'll use Kapton tape, and then we use a razor knife and you just cut open the openings and pull it out.
up on the pad.
Yeah.
idea.
So what I want to do now is I want to cycle this once. So I may have to adjust this a little higher, and I'll show you why. Can you open the shutter, please?
Then we could get outside, but in the facilities.
Okay. So it's basically scraping on there. So
Yeah, usually
you plug those it.
I mean, it's nice to plumb them in. I think they're like easier.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. You just got to loosen it and just bring it up a little higher.
That way when the stuff condenses.
So you don't want it flush.
Well, it has, whenever it cycles, it has to open without dragging.
So do you want me to open it again?
Yeah, could you please?
Not that there's going to be that much, but
And that's why I really wanted to show you this, because if you just throw it in, it's gonna drag. It's gonna cause some issues. All right. So now the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put this dark space shield on. And so there's the hardware for it. And this goes on the front. And these are just
Hold this real quick. I need to get
Allen screws. So we just want to put it on. We want to adjust it so that.
We don't want to close this before, or?
Well, we're going to cycle this after it's on to make sure it doesn't hit. But you want to keep the height probably similar to the other one that's next to it. Have you been one of those? And then you just fix them with those thumb screws.
In words, or?
Yeah, I put them on the same as the other one. You notice that these have a flat on both sides. The only reason we spun the other one is it was concave.
So this computer is communicating through this USB.
Correct.
So I believe this is for the ALD, right?
Yeah, I wanted to put it here because I thought it'd be easier for training than have it out here.
Eventually, might need a hard cable.
Yeah, I'd put a table or maybe even one of these arms, and maybe you could mount an arm here, just make it easier. It seemed like it was in a better proximity for the amount of people.
Yeah, in fact, if you can include some of the suggested materials in your team, I can redesign this correctly.
Can you cycle the shutter then?
We're kind of doing what we have to in the space and our availability.
You're good.
Yeah.
All right. So, can you open the shutter one more time? So, one thing I like to do, I like to short check. Mary Ann can probably attest to this. You don't want to close the vacuum system up if anything's shorted, because then your cathode's not going to work. I got a multimeter. And take the knots out of this. Now I'm going to check from my dark space to my target that I'm not shorted. This is good, but I don't. And really, you can just see if this is kicked. It's not a concentric. Okay. If it's shorted, you're not going to get a plasma. Okay. So you can go ahead and shut the shutter again. All right. Then I'm going to check the O-ring to make sure there's no dirt or anything on it. And I'm going to close. I'm going to put my sample holder back in. Do you have some kind of sample I could put on here, or I could just sputter on here if you want.
Wafer?
Yeah, okay. There's some plastic.
And the glass, big glass wafer?
Remember the ones we were making the ITOs on? Where did those go? I feel like I stashed them in here so they wouldn't get broken. But I won't swear that. Yeah. They're in like a white, clear case. Man. Like Sharon looking for wafer?
I'll try that, yeah. Thank you. You got the? Awesome. Thank you very much.
Let me tell him it's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to decide which one they'd like to give up.
I'm just moving these into a smaller bolt circle.
Okay.
That's all I'm doing.
Goes right about the spinner.
Nice. That's why we couldn't find it. It was where it was supposed to be. We're not used to them.
Somebody put them back.
Yeah, that's different here.
How dare that?
Yeah, right. Threw the whole system on it.
Trust me, you're not alone.